Hey, what up, Miss Saunders? I'm going to be talking about A Thousand Splendid Suns, and this is a sequel to The Kite Runner, and it is the second book that Khaled Hosseini wrote. So this book is about how two women, Layla and Miriam, who lived during a really difficult time in Afghanistan, and how their difficult circumstances brought them together to live under the abusive Rashid household, whom a man whom they were forced to marry to, and how they persevered through their struggles together. And yeah, so this kind of relates to the theme I'm going to be talking about, which is how that through being resilient and persevering through the adversities of life, one is able to make the best out of every situation they're put in and kind of persevere to their ultimate goal. So the first person I'm going to be talking about is Layla, and she's one of the main characters. So one of the styles that Khalid Hosseini does is that he makes the reader realize through about like 50 or 60 pages the importance or the connection here Layla had with her family, and he does this with the other characters in the book, and he makes us realize the deep connection that Layla had with her family, so that when she loses somebody in her life, the reader also feels her pain. So here, the quote on the board shows that she is notified of her best friend Tariq. No, it's another Tariq, but yeah, or how she's notified of how Tariq was killed. Her best friend in childhood for about like 10 or 15 years. They were best friends, and she's notified that he was killed. So, to explain her perseverance through this difficult situation really well is a character foil. So her mom lost her two sons in the war in Afghanistan, and what her mom did was she was depressed and wore black all day, and she had no ambition in her life. But here, when Layla was notified of her best friend's death, she didn't do the same thing her mom did, but she put her mental state. She had a positive mental state, and she wasn't depressed at all, and she remained positive through an extremely traumatic event. The second quote I'm going to be talking about is when we find out how many lives in Layla's life, how many people in Layla's life died. So, here she kind of counts how many people died. Her mom, her dad, her best friends, and now Tariq died. And here we kind of feel the weight of Layla's pain and suffering, and we kind of expect her to give up kind of on life because all these people died. But instead of finding here a reason to die, she finds a reason to live, and that's her daughter Aziza, and she maintains and she's kind of persevering here because of her daughter Aziza. I want to point out another stylistic element here is the short and quick, rapid sentences Khalid Hosseini uses, and they're really quick and really powerful sentences, and he does that a lot. So next, I want to talk about how her persistence and her perseverance led to something meaningful in Layla's life. So, after persisting on through many many years, she realized that Tariq was alive, and she finally reunited with him. And she even says how here on the quote it shows that she considered everything she lived through worth it because she got to be with her best friend Tariq and now her lover. Next, I want to talk about Miriam and the results of her perseverance. So, up on the quote on the board, we see the quote that says, 18 years, Miriam said, I never asked you for a thing, not one thing, and I'm asking right now. So, here we kind of feel the weight of Miriam's struggle with the horrible Rashid she's married to, and how obedient she was throughout these 18 years of agony she lived through. And again we see this quick sentences that Khalid Hussein uses. They're quick and small and powerful sentences. So finally, the next quote the next quote up on the board talks about uh, Miriam right before her death, right before she is killed. This is a kind of reflection on her life and the unkind life she lived through, and she considers what she lived through to be worth it, rather than looking back at all the struggles she faced. She looked back on the positives and everything she kind of lived through and all the awesome things she experienced, instead of looking at the negatives, to show that she actually made some sort of meaning out of the unkind life she was put with Rashid and with her mother dying. So the final passage I want to talk about is a simile, and the simile relates Miriam to a rock in a stream, and the stream here is a symbol of all the hardships that Miriam faced in her life. So when a rock is in a stream, it is shaped by the stream, and Miriam is exactly that. When she's faced with hardships and difficult situations, she doesn't break under the pressure or anything like that. She's shaped by it. So the painting I want to talk about, which relates extremely well to this, is a painting by A.J. Lagasse, and it's a picture of a tree standing in kind of an unpleasant environment. And here the unpleasant wind relates to the stream, which relates to the hardships Miriam faced in her life. And it's trying to push over the tree, which is Miriam, but the tree stays resilient and is standing strong, and it's also just is bent and shaped by the wind, just like the rock is shaped by the stream, and just like Miriam is by the hardships she's is facing in her life. I want to talk about the poem by Rudyard Kipling. If just the first part of this poem, and kind of the general idea of this poem is that you should stay confident and brave during a time of crisis, and the importance of and kind of realize the importance of waiting and seeing yourself into a better time. We there's a sense of like repetition and fast pacedness in this poem, and that mirrors the fast pacedness of the book itself. It's kind of a element relation. Okay, I think I'm done. See ya. Bye.